All right, let me just, first of all, let me welcome everyone. Thank you for taking time to be here today. I think this is an important day for us here in this campaign. And, let me begin by saying this, that Cece Tatchik is a good person, and I like him. But I want you to know that George Amedore is also a good person, somebody who I like. And I'm here today supporting him. I'm calling on folks to come out today and support George Amedore. And I want to explain to you why. We have had over 400,000 people leave our state in the last 4 years. And as I've moved all around the 11 counties and the 165 towns, I can't tell you how many people that I've talked to that are seriously considering following, leaving us. We can't have this. This is a great state. We have so much here going for us, so much potential here in New York. What we need to do is rally. We need to rally right here. This is the time. This is the time, and we've got to have a new direction. Principally, I'm going to talk about 3 different issues here. The first is the economy. Opportunity for our businesses that are here now. We want to see them flourish, thrive, and expand. And we wanted to have a business environment here that attracts businesses from all over the nation and from all over the world. And I want you to know, I'm optimistic. I think we can absolutely do this. And I say that from having listened very carefully to small business owners and their employees and seen some positive developments. In fact, we've had some industry move back to this country and to our district. And I'm optimistic that we can continue that trend because of all we have to offer in terms of our people. We have the most motivated, dedicated, trained workforce in the world because of some investments we've already made to date, particularly with advanced manufacturing, and because of some trends with agriculture. I think that for the first time in 50 years, we've seen a growth in the number of farms. And because I think we're going to continue to see investments that move us in that direction if we have the right leadership. So, that's why I'm here today supporting George Amedore, because you know what? If you take a look at how he grew up and what he's about, in terms of his work as a business owner himself, I think that, George clearly understands what it takes to have an environment that's conducive to growth. And then furthermore, he showed that in his activities in the Assembly. And because of that, you have small businesses, the National Federation of Independent Businesses, 70% of our jobs here are small business jobs. And George has the support of our small businesses. And so this is a leader who will go to Albany, who will be very thoughtful, who will work with anyone that can advance the interest for our area, and he will help create jobs. And in addition to helping create jobs, he will strengthen the jobs that we have here. And it will be in those areas that I mentioned. And in addition to those areas, I would add tourism, which is another area that's very important to Greene County. So George understands this environment. And so that's one big reason why we need George Amedore in Albany, is because we need to inspire our state to rally. We need to stop the trend of people leaving our state, and we need to reverse that and expand and grow. Opportunities so that when our young folks graduate from school, if they're so inclined, they can stay right here in our area and do well. Second reason, for Mary Jo and I, our 3 kids go to the same school district that I went to years ago, Ichabod Crane. We used to be rivals here with Casket. In fact, I see some of my former rivals even here today. But look, the one thing we agree upon, those days of wearing the uniform and being competitors are over. We're all friends and neighbors now, and our education system means everything to us because we believe in equal opportunity, and we want everyone to have a fair shot in the race of life. And to do that, we need to have a first-rate educational system. I firmly believe this, that the best approach to education is empowerment. It's not centralization. It's not homogenizing. It's not having somebody in Washington prescribe how it is that we're going to educate our kids. The same goes with too much control from Albany. The best approach in education is a bottom-up approach. Because keep in mind this, that when you talk about preparing individuals to excel, who knows best than our local teachers, our local administrators, our parents, and those that sit on the school board? They know best. That's not to say that they shut out any information or advice from anywhere, including from experts across the nation. Not at all. The idea that we would get help with insights and studies from across the nation and the world is a good one. Where it crosses the line is when we end up having so-called standards that go with those ideas that end up hurting the funding streams in our localities and prescribing the pedagogy and curriculum. That's when we've crossed the line. Because those are local decisions. They should be made here. We need common sense, not common core. Our teachers are special. They already know they're not going to be rich, but they get to be rich at heart by inspiring, inculcating, and educating. And what they need is our best support. And what I think empowerment means the resources necessary and the policies that allow for the maximum participation and inclusion of the special talents of our teachers, parents, and administrators. George Amedore understands this, and he will support a new direction in education. And I think that is so vitally important. The third area has to do fundamentally with the way we live. Many of you have heard me talk before about how incredibly special it is here in America. This remarkable way of life. For all of our challenges, for all of our warts, this is still the place to be in the world. Is it any doubt that we have people working so hard to get here? And it's because for all these challenges that we have a form of life that allows for maximum freedom and opportunity, a flourishing form of life. And it's an optimistic one. It is realistic, but it's also optimistic. It's based on the juxtaposition of power that restrains overweening tyrannical approaches. That's really, if you look at the heart of the Constitution itself, it juxtaposes power. We've got, as Madison said, we have ambition to counteract ambition. And we have a legislative, a judicial, and an executive branch that are meant to really be checks on each of the other branches. And then we have auxiliary checks, as Madison called it. And that was the state power, right? Federalism. And then undergirding all of that, the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights, and a recognition that these rights actually come from God. And as we state in the Declaration, to secure these rights, governments are instituting among men and women, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. So it was at the beginning, so it remains today. Belief in this incredible and special way of life. George Amedore stands behind the Bill of Rights. The entire Bill of Rights. First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Third Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth, the Sixth, the Seventh, the Eighth, and the Ninth, and the Tenth. The Bill of Rights. An optimistic document, grounded in reality. George Amedore will stand up for this. Proud to be with him today. I'm asking you to vote for George Amedore. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. Thank you. Look, this is a special day for me because I'm here with a great American. Not just a congressman, but a true American, a father, husband who gets it, who has the heart of public service, who has a heart to make sure that his children are raised up in the way that they should go, in instilling the principles, morality, disciplines, responsibility in his family life, and also helping our communities do the same. So Chris, for all of your hard work, your service to men and women of this country, and us, we the residents of the 46th Senate District, I thank you so much for your endorsement and all your help. Thank you. You know, there's one thing that Chris Gibson and I have in common is we have opponents running for against us that really think that they can buy this seat or their elections. And it's pretty unfortunate because the will of the people is being, I believe, treaded on, where that the residents of the 46th Senate District or the Congressional District, they're frustrated, they're tired, they're fearful, they are sick and tired of being nickeled and dimed, they are tired of having an overreaching government, big government telling its residents how to live, how to educate, where to go to the doctors for medical help. They are tired of having big government or liberal ideologies infringing upon our constitutional freedoms and liberties. The residents of the 46th Senate District deserve strong leadership in Albany that's going to stand up for the values, the ways of life that we in upstate New York are so privileged to have and fight so hard to uphold. But unfortunately, we have a representative in Albany as our senator who's doing the opposite. 97% of the time, she represents the special interests of New York City. She goes, fundraises in New York City. She goes, hobnobs in New York City. And she votes with New York City. The last thing we need in Albany is another representative, another senator who's going to uphold the values or the ways of life of New York City that will then infringe on, dictate to upstate New Yorkers how we should live. You see, you and I can't afford to live in upstate New York much longer. We have the highest property taxes in the nation. Our cost of energy is extremely high, 66% higher than the national average. We have a energy utility tax on our utility bills. We have a lack of funding in our educational system. We have star rebate checks that were eliminated to our seniors in upstate New York. All because we had one-party rule in Albany in 2009 and 10. And who ruled it? New York City. We cannot afford to have one-party rule in Albany after this election. We need a strong voice. We need a representative who's going to stand up for our equality, for equality, making sure that we finally, once and for all, have the women's equality agenda made into law so that we can stop the discrimination, stop the harassment, stop the domestic abuse, uphold and strengthen the law so that we have equality for all New Yorkers once and for all. Yeah. We need a senator who's going to fight for our school districts. Now I know I have an opponent that says she's doing everything she can, but it's unfortunate. The 46th Senate District has lost $99 million of school aid funding because of the gap elimination adjustment. And where did that come from? One-party rule, the New York City Democrat senators. We can't afford it. We property owners can't afford higher property taxes for more school funding. We need the state to kick in their fair share, eliminate the unfunded mandates, fund the programs that need to be so our students and our teachers have the resources necessary for a quality, world-class education. And as our congressman said, it is about education. It's about economic development, but a world-class education. Because right now in the state of New York, we are not at a young age preparing our students for career readiness, for college preparedness. We are failing in this because, you see, we have a idea that our educational system should be run from a big bureaucracy, and that they mandate from Washington or Albany a one-size-fits-all approach called Common Core that is taking the abilities away from the teachers who hold master degrees to teach to the ability to how they were taught, but in the gifts that they have to the students. Whether they have a disability in learning or they are advanced, the students need not to have a one-size-fits-all approach. They need a person in the classroom that's going to inspire them, that's going to bring alive the curriculums that their teachers are teaching, so that they will understand. But with this one-size-fits-all, one-dimension Common Core curriculum that you just need to continue to test and test and test and test, it's frustrating our students, it's frustrating our parents, and it is not getting the results that we, the taxpayers, expect to see in our classrooms. So we need to change that Common Core. We need to institute high standards, absolutely. But we need to have the local involvement of our parents and our teachers and our educators to inspire our young in the classrooms. Bring forth the vocational education experiences at a young age, not at college age, but at a young age, so that they can start, their students can start to understand and think how to work with their hands, their mind, and a little back muscle, that someday when they graduate high school, they're prepared to enter the workforce. Not every student needs to go to college to be successful. I didn't. And it can be done. College is a great thing, but if they're not college prepared, what we see is higher debt wrapped around the students and lack of jobs when they get out of college. And we need a representative in Albany who understands how to create jobs in a way that it empowers the private sector. If we don't have a representative who gets the private sector and the public sector working together for good public policies in order to allow the private sector to thrive, we are not going to have a strong economy in the state of New York. So, I'm honored to have Congressman Gibson's endorsement. It means a lot to me because my grandfather inspired me, and he was a World War II veteran. And he taught me how to be a proud American. My father taught me that the American dream is alive and well, because you see, he was one that didn't even make it out of high school. But with hard work, with dedication, with respect, love thy neighbor as thyself, with paying attention, discipline, you can succeed. We can succeed in New York. And the Siena poll that came out that said upstate New York, over 60% of upstate New Yorkers think that the best days are behind us, is outright wrong. We need strong representatives in Albany that's going to put forth the right public policies that inspires the great American dream. And we need good public policy that also brings some disciplines and making sure that we have responsibilities in the citizens who need a little extra help and that leg up in society, but making sure that we're not creating a system that is just one constantly being depended on so that they can just survive. We can do better than where we are right now. I got faith in the future of New York. We need to build the faith back in the citizens, in its elected officials, in its government. And it comes and it starts with electing the right representatives in office and sending them not just to Albany but to Washington, with people of character, people of integrity, with people who understand blood, sweat, and tears, the sacrifice and how to make things work. Not relying on just big government programs, because folks, the bigger the government, the poorer the people. So thank you so much.